So you decided to learn Japanese, but you don't know where to start. No problem, I got your back. Now, as a beginner, you might be a little overwhelmed. After all, there are a multitude of ways to learn, ranging from traditional to online to mixed type of learning. First of all, let's establish learning method. Now, common sense tells you that you should go to a university, an academy, or some other organized body of institution that will teach you a language or a skill. This, however, is not your only option. See, traditional learning was established in the 16th century. So if you think about it, we have been doing the same thing for about 500 years now. With the advent of the internet, that's been around since the 80s, people have been talking about how it is a revolution in information. However, they haven't exactly been making the best use of it. Now, online academies are pretty new, and they're supposedly a revolution in the industry. However, in my opinion, this is but a stopgap measure to what full online learning should really entail. The problem with online learning and online universities as they are right now is that it has basically brought in 16th century methodology into the modern world, or shall we say the digital age. This, however, does not change the core principle of how people learn. They have still stuck around with the same way of thinking and the same way of teaching. With the internet being as it is, this should not be the case. The problem with this methodology is that it assumes that the professor or teacher is infallible and the student or learner is a blank slate. I, however, do not need to tell you this, but each and every person is different. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, we all have our little quirks, and we all have different ways of learning and interacting with the world. So if you were to ask me, what is the best institution? What is the best teacher? What is the best way of learning? My answer is, there is none. The best way is to learn by yourself. And by this, what I mean is, you should find the perfect learning method that works for you. Everything that you need to know is available on your laptop, your smartphone, or even an internet cafe. Now that we've established learning method, let's now discuss resources. What is the best book? What is the best app? What is the best game that I can play to learn languages? Now my answer for you, there is no such thing as the best. If you are still thinking in this sort of methodology, this is your second mistake. Because there is no such thing as the best, as I've already mentioned, each person has a different way of learning. The only thing that will change here is efficiency. Now, do not mistake efficiency for speed, because this is another trap that you're probably going to fall into. You're going to find a lot of offerings on the internet and in real life about the best program. You'll become proficient in 3 months, 6 months, a year, speak like a native, all of these things. This is all marketing nonsense. There is no way that these people know you personally. There is no way they have tested your academic skill or know anything about your life. And there is no way that they are able to guarantee these results. So do not fall for this. Now, why did I mention books, apps, and games? This is the internet, so all of these are interconnected. But for the purpose of savings, let's skip over books for now. Let's talk about apps and games. In my previous video, I discussed dopamine triggers. Apps and games are directly connected to this. There are, however, games that are designed as educational tools and educational tools that are secretly just games. Do not mistake one for the other. Both of these actually have their place. Neither one of them is useless. However, one of them is an active learning method and the other one is a passive learning method. I'll discuss more about this in my next video. I don't want to overload you with information. So, what is the first step? The first step is to perceive the language, to differentiate it from other languages and your language. There are 4 parts to this. There's reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Now this might seem like 4 different things, but it's actually the same thing, and I'm going to explain that. See, the problem that most beginners make is trying to assimilate the language. A new language operates in a different environment than what you're used to. It has a different culture, it has a different history, it has a different grammar and sentence structure. So if you try to simply translate it or to simply bring it in with your current understanding of your language, you will not make sense of what's going on. Therefore, the correct thing to do is to assume that you know nothing. Do not try to translate the language, simply accept that this is a different language and you need to program yourself to understand, to learn, and to perceive this language. So that's it. That's your first step. There's no magic formula, there's no secret hidden meaning, it's nothing complicated. That's all you need to do. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how to do that. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. That's all.